Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Hi, hi, Chris. Welcome to
Hey,
Grue.
what's going on, man? How you doing?
How's it going, buddy? Thanks for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Definitely. Um, well, I'm going to talk about the film Death Tour, and I watched it last night. It was really good, and it's based in Canada, and it 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 looks like it's a really long tour, and it takes a toll on someone's body, and it looks very cold too. I saw a lot of snow in the film. And you said like every person in that world, they should at least try it once. And why do you think someone should try it? And can you tell us what a death tour is?
So basically, what you're dealing with is when you are an independent wrestler just starting out, you want to get as much work as possible. And the Death Tour is a legendary tour that we do in Manitoba in the wintertime, going up to the First Nation Indigenous reservations. And you have to travel there via sometimes via the roads that are made in the winter over frozen lakes through the forest. So it can take you 12, 15, 16 hours to get to a certain reservation. It is very cold. You see that.
Yeah, I see
Um,
that.
a lot of times too, when you get to the reservations, if there's a death on the reservation, the show will be canceled, and you don't know that until you get there. So there's a
Oh,
lot of kind of unknown elements doing these tours, and that's why we thought it'd make a really interesting documentary to kind of show just how hard it is when you're first starting out in the business,
mhm.
and also too how inspirational it is to come to these communities where nothing comes. There's no shows, there's no concerts, there's nothing. They can be very depressing sometimes with addiction and suicide and crime. So when the wrestling show comes to town, that gives people something to look forward to, gives them something to motivate themselves and focus on, gives them some inspiration. So I think when we made this documentary, we really got a chance to show both sides of this coin, how hard it is, but how rewarding it is as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. And what I like about, because I used to do it too. I did it for like a few years wrestling, and I see everyone's the same. No one is above anyone, and they all put up the ring, and they all break it down, and like no one is like, oh nah, I'm not putting up the ring, you do it. And it's everyone's the same on a death tour.
Yeah, I mean, once again, like this is kind of paying your dues in
Hmm.
a very important way. And I think when the Death Tour ends, when Tony Candelo finishes doing these, there'll never be another tour like this again. Um, so you really do learn a lot. You learn a lot about wrestling in the ring, and you learn a lot about life outside of the ring. You're learning life
Yeah.
lessons, and I think all of us that have done these tours, once again, you're talking about world champions: Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, Dr. Luther, Don Callis. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of the alumni of these tours. You can use this as a springboard to get to the next level, or there's also hundreds of names that you've never heard of. Some people, this might be as big as it gets, and that's okay too. Like, once again,
Yeah.
you get a chance to be a star when you go to these towns where nothing ever happens, and you show up and you get in the ring. People cheer for you. You
Mhm.
are treated as a main event superstar. This is their, all in. This is their WrestleMania,
Yeah.
and you're inspiring people. So it's reciprocal in that you go to this town and 100 people show up, but for that night, everybody is getting a chance to live their dreams, both in the ring and people watching outside of the ring.
And you actually went through a death tour, and how was your experience like with it?
Well, once again, I mean, you can see the experience on screen from the documentary that we filmed. I mean, long roads to travel to get to these shows. And when you get there, you have to set up the ring, then you do the show, then you
Mhm.
sleep in the high school gymnasiums on the floor in your sleeping bag that you bring. And then you are, if you want some food and you want to get a peanut butter sandwich, $40 for a jar of peanut butter, so much of that sort of thing as well. So it really
Wow.
is, it's one of those things where you go on this tour and after about a week, you're thinking, what am I doing? And your answer is either this is the job that I want to do and I want more of this, or I want to go back and get a job at the grocery store. And that's okay too. Once again, you really do get a chance to see um what you're made of when you do something like this. And that's another reason why we wanted to make this documentary. Like it's so grueling, but it's also very rewarding. And what side of the coin do you fall on when you're involved in this?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I know you're pressed for time, so I'm just gonna ask like one final question, and it's nothing to do with the film. I know you're a big horror guy, and I'm a big horror fan, as you could tell. And I know Sleep Way Camp 2 is one of your best. And what's your favorite kill in that movie? I know mine's is when Pamela Springsteen has the girl in the toilet and she's stuffing her
I
down with
mean,
the
it's the
well,
best. It's one of the best kills of all time. Where she stuffs her down the outhouse, and my favorite part of that is she comes out of the outhouse covered in leeches.
I
Like,
know
why is there
exactly.
leeches in the
I don't
excrement of the outhouse? Yeah, I mean that's a great one. There's so many. If you're looking for a great horror movie from the '80s that's got great kills and great nudity and a great story, it doesn't get any better than Sleepaway Camp 2. And also too, with Pamela Springsteen, Bruce's sister,
Bruce's sister, yeah.
Renee Estevez, Emilio's sister. Like, you've got these kind of offshoot, famous characters as well. So yeah, you can't go wrong with Sleepaway Camp 2.
Definitely, yes. Well, Chris, thanks so much for doing this, and I'm gonna be on your cruise in another week.
Nice. All
Going
right,
on the
man.
Jericho cruise.
Look forward to seeing you there. It's gonna be awesome.
Thank you, thank you, man.
Cheers, man.
Have a
See you
good
soon.
one.
Thanks, man.